Right now on News 3 this morning, Sunday, a mystery in Madison as police continue to investigate after two people are found dead inside a home on the city's east side. Stepping up security, La Follette High School is ready to make some changes amidst growing pressure from parents. The community-wide meeting set for tomorrow after two shootings near the school in a 7-day span. And it's your last chance to cast your ballot for the coolest thing made in Wisconsin. A look at the Final Four and where to go to make your voice heard. Your news starts right now.
This is News 3 This Morning Sunday.
Good morning and welcome to News 3 This Morning Sunday. It's September 30th. I'm Jamie Perez filling in for Josh this morning, joined by meteorologist Chris Reese. We had a rainy start to the morning and might be looking like that for the rest of the week.
Yeah, that's right. It's going to be one of those situations where we are going to have several rain chances, and this morning is just one of many that's coming our way towards south central Wisconsin. Here's a live look outside right now. Look at the dreary clouds over the Capitol. That's going to be the kind of scene that you will likely see going just about all day long. Temperatures, though, are warmer. You've got to find the good news in the weather. 46 degrees right now. Yesterday, we saw temperatures that were at 34. So we are 12 degrees warmer this morning as opposed to yesterday morning. And we are going to gradually trend a little bit warmer going through the next couple of days here. 46 right now, outside 43 in Black River Falls. Janesville and Kenosha both at 50, same for 51 as you work your way over towards the Lakeshore, Milwaukee. But 30s are not too far to the north. Check out portions of northern Wisconsin along with central and northern Minnesota. So you're starting to see now where kind of that warm front lifted northward yesterday. But until then, we are socked in with some of the shower activity, and that is going to take a small break this morning before more showers and thunderstorms pick up once again this afternoon and evening. Thankfully, not a lot of this has been heavy rain. It's mainly been light. But like I mentioned, as we go through the day, we'll get a little bit of a break before temperatures warm up to about 52 degrees, and then more rain chances will come back later on this afternoon, Jamie.
Never thought 52 would sound so nice.
I know, right? It really does for this time of the year. But yeah, it's going to be one of those Sundays.
One of those. All right. Well, thanks so much, Chris. Madison police say they'll release more information today about their investigation into what led to two deaths on the city's east side. Officers were called out to a townhouse on Webb Avenue near 151 around noon Saturday. Officers met family members outside of the home and then forced their way inside. They found a 34-year-old woman and a 39-year-old man with gunshot wounds. Police say they knew each other. Both were pronounced dead shortly after. Police also found a firearm at the scene, and because the two dead knew each other in a domestic context, officials don't believe there is any threat to the public. Right now, police haven't said whether or not children were involved. Madison police are also investigating a sexual assault. A 17-year-old girl called police Friday night saying that she was assaulted in a parking lot near the Woodmans on South Gammon. The girl says she asked the suspects for a ride home and had recently met them at school. A bus driver for the Middleton Cross Plains Area School District is on leave right now. A video surfaced showing the driver putting his hand on the back of the girl's head. A spokesperson for the district says the video was taken during Monday morning's route. After school, the district had the driver take different students home, and he was put on paid leave by Tuesday. The district and the Dane County Sheriff's Office are conducting separate investigations but could not share any further information. New information coming in this morning after two shootings in the span of a week. The neighborhood in the area of La Follette High School is coming together this week to talk about ways the school leaders can make sure that students are safe. Alders Michael Tierney and David Ahrens will join the La Follette High School principal Sean Storch and members of the Madison Police Department, including Chief Mike Koval, at a community meeting tomorrow night. There they'll listen to concerns from the people living in the Glendale neighborhood and try to answer as many questions as they can. That meeting starts at 6:30 at Senate Middle School on Flom Road. Turning now to politics, Governor Scott Walker is adding people to his campaign staff. The election is 5 weeks away, and polls show him trailing to his Democratic challenger, Tony Evers. The state Medicaid director leaving her job to work on messaging for Walker, and he's also adding Republican Senator Ron Johnson's spokesman as a communications advisor. Meanwhile, Walker's opponent, the state school superintendent Tony Evers, spent Saturday campaigning in La Crosse. The Wisconsin-based band Bon Iver plans to hold an early voting rally and fundraiser for Democratic Senator Tammy Baldwin. The event will take place in Madison on October 20th. Bon Iver said in a statement the band is thrilled to support Senator Baldwin and early voting. Baldwin's opponent in the upcoming election, Republican Leah Vukmir spent Saturday campaigning at the Fall Fest in Burlington. Outgoing Speaker of the House and Janesville native Paul Ryan was also there, and new this morning he got a standing ovation from hundreds in the crowd. Speaker Ryan has been attending that 1st District Republican Party of Wisconsin event for the last 18 years now. He was this year's keynote speaker and told the crowd that during his time in Washington, he's proven that Republican principles work. Ryan also got emotional reminiscing about his time representing Wisconsin.
Honor of my lifetime to serve you, to be a part of this.
Election Day is November 6th, but many candidates at the event were out pushing people to vote early. A small village of just more than 800 people is celebrating its fire department this weekend. The Footville Fire Department has been a staple in the community for 100 years, since 1918. A special celebration was held Saturday featuring demos and water fights. Firefighters call this an opportunity to give back to a community who continuously supports them.
And that's what this is for, is to thank the people that fund us and the people that give us our funding to open the doors up and have the nice equipment that we have.
There was also a fire truck parade. The night ended with a firehouse dance. A farm in Iowa County is also celebrating its 100th birthday, but despite 10 decades of service, the McCauley farm is still the new kid on the block. The farm is just outside of Hollandale, and get this, the closest 5 farms are the real veterans of the area. Their neighbors have been farming in Iowa County for upwards of 150 years, making the McCauleys technically the youngest family on their road. Altogether, those 6 farms count 836 years of, quote, work and joy. From the old to the new, the Goodman Community Center's new community program space is now open. It's called the Brassworks Building, which will house the center's middle and high school programs. Goodman Center staff say the addition will help get more community members involved in their services. Now that the Brassworks Building is open, the center is raising money to reconfigure its other building. Looking ahead now, First Responder Appreciation Week starts tomorrow in Montello, and that community is honoring its men and women in uniform in a pretty cool way. Firefighters, law enforcement, and paramedics can camp out with their families for free at the Wilderness Campground. You can reserve your spot for any 2 days between tomorrow and Sunday. If interested, you'll want to write this down. The number to call is right there on your screen. It's 608-297-2002. Then on Tuesday, the World Dairy Expo kicks off at the Alliant Energy Center. The expo brings in more than 70,000 dairy professionals to Madison to talk shop on how to improve their business. Along with recent tariffs, farmers have been struggling with stagnant milk prices for several years, and many are deciding to leave the industry entirely. The latest census of dairy farms here in the state shows the number of farms has dropped nearly 20% in the past 5 years. Madison's newest music venue will host the rock group Primus for its next concert tomorrow night, and this time visitors will have a garage to park in. The Sylvie opened last Thursday with a sold-out crowd for Nathaniel Rateliff and the Night Sweats, but the 600-stall parking structure was not ready for those 2,500 people in attendance. Managers at the Sylvie say the garage will be open in time for Monday's show. And there's a Madison area school in the running for a $25,000 prize, and you have until tonight to help with your vote. Nuestro Mundo is currently 8th in place in Unity Point's Imagine the Amazing contest. There are schools in Wisconsin, Illinois, and Iowa in the running for that money, which will be used to improve some sort of wellness effort in those classrooms. So far, there are more than 24,000 votes for Nuestro Mundo. It's the only school in our area that's in the top 10, which would mean a $1,000 prize. There's no limit on the number of times that you can vote. We have a link to where you can do so over at channel3000.com. It's also your last day to vote for the coolest things made in Wisconsin. This year, a Stoughton clothing company is on the list. CCMU LLC made it to the top 4 after the first round of voting in the Wisconsin Manufacturers and Commerce Contest. That company makes clothing for infants and toddlers who need a feeding tube. A Kringle company in De Pere and Generac that makes a Wi-Fi connected home generator that can sense power outages are also in the finals. You can vote once per day at madeinwisc.com until tonight at 11:59. Time now is 6:39. It's the coldest weekend we've had here in Wisconsin in quite some time, but these chilly temps aren't sticking around for long. Chris is tracking several swings this week with highs near 80 and lows near 30. You're looking live downtown. Chris is in next with your full First Alert forecast. And from paper to plate, printers are not just for school papers or pictures anymore. Next, we'll take you to a restaurant overseas, serving up some 3D printed meals. The news is back in the morning right here on News 3 This Morning Sunday.
Well, good Sunday morning to all of you. It's a little damp outside this time. That's because some rain showers moved our way overnight tonight. We are going to be seeing more of those as we go through the day. Let's go ahead and show you Doppler track. You see a lot of those showers that move through, and most of them on the light side, but nonetheless, just enough to make things damp and those roads wet this morning. So do take it easy if you're going to be out. Thankfully, we should get a little bit of a break as we go through the next couple of hours before more chances for some showers and thunderstorms do arrive later on this afternoon. Let's go ahead and show you temperatures. Right now, it's 46 degrees in Madison, 43 in Black River Falls, 50 as you work your way closer towards the Wisconsin and Illinois state line. But most of us are seeing those temperatures that are in the mid-40s. Dew points in the 40s as well. And you'll notice those winds have like an easterly component with them. Right now, they're east and southeast, but as we go through the rest of the afternoon, they'll turn out of the east and northeast in due time. And that's simply because of a boundary that we have just to our south, kind of influencing some of these rain chances. Let's go ahead and show you how temperatures are going to take off as we go through the rest of the day. Notice they don't take off. In fact, they actually stay very much within the same 5 to 10 degree span there with the cloud cover around. But check out that 30-degree temperature difference between here and Springfield, Illinois this afternoon. Then let's do this again. Going forward into Monday, you'll see a similar pattern here. We're only at 60 degrees. They're in the mid-80s just to our south. That's because we are on the northern side of a stationary front. That stationary front has waves of low pressure moving along it. That's going to be increasing those rain chances as we go through the next couple of days. So you'll see those rain chances increase tonight, but you'll also see some heavier rain come through as we go through Monday as well. Let's go ahead and come in closer to home and take you hour by hour. Going through the rest of today, most of that's going to be cloud cover, but those rain chances will pick up right around 10 o'clock or so, and then going through the overnight hours and through your Monday morning. So as you get ready for tomorrow, definitely grab that umbrella. You're going to need it. Then by Monday afternoon, a squall line of showers and thunderstorms will come through with the cold front. That is actually when we could see some of our heaviest rain. In fact, we have a potential for about 2 to 3 inches of rain between now and Monday. Thankfully, that doesn't come necessarily all at once, but we are going to be watching that with the soggy ground that we already have, the potential for some heavy rain as we go through about the next 24 to 48 hours. More rain chances come in Tuesday and Wednesday as well, as we're in an active pattern with the cold front arriving by next weekend, keeping temperatures in the 50s for a couple of days through early next week.
All right, thanks so much, Chris.
My pleasure.
3D printers are already being used in hospitals, auto assembly lines, and factories. Now they're being used to make, or rather print, food. Roxana Saberi visited a restaurant in the Netherlands that is using the technology to create unique dishes for customers.
In the pastures of his parents' farm, Jan Smink, a top Dutch chef, is going back to the basics.
Our typical fresh or local ingredients.
To create a new culinary future.
We use it, but we transform it into a little bit modern version.
Modern because he's a pioneer in printing food.
And then you're gonna print
3D printers don't actually cook meals, but they pump pureed ingredients.
So you're using cauliflower now?
Yeah.
Into layer upon layer of delicate designs.
You can make shapes, what you can't make by hand.
Like an avocado octopus, or meat bowls filled with curry sauce. Michelin-starred chefs have printed dishes before, and the University of Utah Hospital now prints meals for patients with problems swallowing solid food. But Smink is the first to give printed food a permanent place in each course on the menu.
Why 3D food printing?
Something extra for my guests to surprise them.
Does it change the food itself?
It don't change anything about the flavor, for example.
Nina Hoff says the printers provided by her company Biflow are easier to use than many chefs think.
Many restaurants are scared of technology in their kitchens.
If dishes like these prove popular, and the devices, each nearly $4,000, get cheaper, Pixels to Plate could improve nutrition and fight waste by transforming unappealing food into tasty works of art.
What is your dream dish that you'd like to make using one of these printers?
That we print the face of the guests, eatable, like a nice flavor, and make a dish of it at the end of the night.
eat your face as dessert.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
He says if you mix a dash of inspiration with a touch of technology, anything's possible.
Pretty interesting. Anything's possible. Time now is 6:47. Nearly 6 million Americans are living with Alzheimer's or dementia right now. People here in Wisconsin hoping to learn more about preventing those diseases. We'll have a chance this week to learn more in our next hour of News 3. But next, from the wheelchair bound to walking, the groundbreaking new research happening at the Mayo Clinic, giving patients and their families new hope they might be able to walk again.
Drizzle, fog, and low clouds. Those are some of the words that you can use to describe your Sunday morning. Here's a live look outside right now from the WISC studios. Yep, that's what it looks like in a lot of spots out there. 46 degrees, the temperature, light rain being reported at the airport. Elsewhere, temperatures are either in the low 40s or upwards towards about 50 degrees. Janesville is at 50, same for Kenosha, and then Milwaukee at 51. But 40s is the name of the game for just about everyone else. 46 seems to be a popular temperature this morning. Now, we're going to get a break in a lot of the shower activity that's out there now outside of low drizzle that'll hang around throughout the day, but overnight and into tomorrow, more of that heavy rain that's going to be moving back into the picture. Jamie?
Thanks, Chris. Local researchers are looking into behaviors associated with the legal drinking age. A UW-Madison study found when the legal drinking age is 21, men are far more likely to drive drunk, get in fights, or take part in risky sexual practices. The similar negative impacts were not found amongst women. The researchers looked at figures from Ad Health, a long-term national study covering adolescent to adult health. They also found that young adults living at home typically participate in riskier behaviors more than those living away from their parents. Some local kids are better prepared for emergencies now. UW-Madison police and other organizations talked about safety with people at an event on Saturday. Families were invited to explore squad cars, meet local police and fire officials, and learn about ways to stay safe while in their communities. For many people, being paralyzed after an accident often means they will never walk again. But new groundbreaking research taking place at the Mayo Clinic is giving patients some hope that they may be able to walk again.
Jared Shinnick was paralyzed from the waist down after a snowmobile accident in 2013. But 5 years later, he's able to walk again with assistance.
To be able to move my legs and to walk, even to stand, it means a lot. That there's hope for not only me, but other people.
In an experimental procedure, doctors at the Mayo Clinic implanted an electrical stimulation device that zaps his spinal cord below the site of his injury.
We were able to stimulate directly the spinal cord itself, and we believe that that was very important to be able to regain the volitional control or voluntary control.
A month later, Shinnick's first big breakthrough came when he was able to voluntarily move his legs.
Felt in awe, and excited.
With vigorous physical therapy, Shinnick is now able to walk while balancing with a rolling walker during physical therapy sessions, one time the equivalent length of a football field. His progress is highlighted in a paper published in the journal Nature Medicine.
Over time, we were really excited to see the results and to see that he was able to achieve something more functional.
The research is the latest in the quest to help people with spinal cord injuries gain control and function of paralyzed limbs. Dr. Charla Fisher, who was not part of the study, says the results are encouraging.
I think the results of the study are exciting, and we'll have to wait and see where they go. But I think it does give hope to some patients with spinal cord injury.
In a separate study at the University of Louisville, 4 other paralyzed patients are also testing this approach. 2 of them eventually were able to walk with assistance like Shinnick. That study is published in the New England Journal of Medicine. Further research is underway to understand why some patients are responding to the stimulator and how it might help others.
We still have a long way to go before we can optimize this therapy, make it relevant to other patients.
The spinal stimulator isn't a cure. Shinnick still can't feel his feet or legs, and when turned off, he can no longer voluntarily move. Shinnick credits a woman he met after his accident for giving him the strength to endure his rigorous therapy, which he undergoes several times a week.
The girl that helped me is now my wife, and she pushes me hard.
A young man willing to push the bounds of technology and his body to make big strides toward his goals.
We have some more of the morning's top health stories ahead in the next hour of News 3 this morning. Time now is 6:56. We're heading through the day's top stories, including why CDC says last flu season was the deadliest in decades. But first, here's a preview of what's to come on an all-new For the Record.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Neil Heinen. Today on For the Record, we will kick off the United Way of Dane County's 2018 annual campaign and Seasons of Caring. It's the year of transformation at United Way and the community it represents and serves, and there's lots of exciting new stuff to talk about. United Way of Dane County President and CEO Renee Moe and 2018 campaign chair First Business Bank President and CEO Corey Shambus will join me to talk about that and about how we can all be Dane changers. That's coming up this morning at 10:30 on WISC.
We're going inside a top-of-the-line trauma center, the work doctors at facilities like that are doing to help save lives, and their methods are being proven effective.
This is News 3 This Morning Sunday.
Good morning and welcome to News 3 This Morning Sunday. It's September 30th. I'm Jamie Perez. We're going to check on the weather with Chris in just a second, but first, let's get you caught up on today's headlines. Madison police say they will release new information today about their investigation into what led to 2 deaths on the city's east side. Officers were called to a townhouse on Webb Avenue near 151 around noon Saturday. Officers met family members outside the home, then forced their way inside. They found a 34-year-old woman and 39-year-old man who police say knew each other with gunshot wounds. Both were pronounced dead shortly after. Police also found a firearm at the scene. Because the 2 dead knew each other in a domestic context, officials don't believe there is any threat to the public. Right now, police haven't said whether or not children were involved. After 2 shootings in the span of a week, the neighborhood in the area of La Follette High School is coming together this week to talk about ways school leaders can make sure students are safe. Alders Michael Tierney and David Ahrens will join La Follette High School Principal Sean Storch and members of the Madison Police Department, including Chief Mike Koval, at a community meeting tomorrow night. There, they'll listen to concerns from the people living in the Glendale neighborhood and try to answer as many questions as they can. That meeting starts at 6:30 at Senate Middle School on Flom Road. Nuestro Mundo is in the running for a $25,000 prize, and tonight is the deadline for you to help them win. The Madison area school is currently in 8th place in Unity Point's Imagine the Amazing contest. There are schools in Wisconsin, Illinois, and Iowa in the running for that money, which will be used to improve some sort of wellness effort in those classrooms. So far, more than 24,000 votes for Nuestro Mundo are in the running. It's the only school in our area that's in the top 10, which would mean a $1,000 prize. There's no limit on the number of times you can vote, but you must do it today. We have a link where you can do that over at channel3000.com. And here's a chance to get your weekend workout in while helping the Henry Vilas Zoo stay free. The 13th annual zoo run starts in just about an hour. At 8 this morning, this year's runners can sign up to either be a badger or a gopher. Badgers will try to catch as many gophers as they can during the run, and gophers will try to stay away from the badgers. There will also be a roo run for kids, who can choose to run either in a half mile or the full mile. Those events start at 10:30, and the annual run serves as a fundraiser for the zoo. Chris joins us now with your first alert forecast. Chris?
Good morning, Jamie. We've got a lot of cloud cover around out there, and as you look on this camera over the Edgewater, you see that cloud cover that's out there. Now, things have gotten a little bit better. It was a bit more dreary. Now that the sun has come up, the clouds have been able to lift just a little bit there, but we still have some low-level moisture and some showers being reported at the airport. Temperatures are on the cooler side at 46 degrees, but on the good side, that's 12 degrees warmer than we were yesterday morning, and we're going to see a little bit of a warming trend as we go through the next couple of days. 50 down in Janesville, same for Kenosha there. You're noticing more upper 40s are coming back into the picture. 47 in Watertown, and then 46 is a pretty popular number on this map this morning. The cold air, that's getting shunted up to the north in the meantime, so we will not worry about that. But here are those showers. Notice they are somewhat dying off in terms of the coverage, but any showers left around, they were all pretty light, so intensity is not much of an issue right now. But we're going to get a break in the shower activity with temperatures approaching 50 by lunchtime. More showers will come back, especially as we get you towards the afternoon and evening time towards the overnight. That's when we could see some heavier rain into Monday. I'll break that down in just a bit. Jamie?
Thanks, Chris. A teen is expected to survive following a shark attack near San Diego. The 13-year-old was rushed into surgery and survived. He was diving for lobsters Saturday morning when the shark bit him. Other lobster divers heard his screams for help and rescued him. This was the opening weekend of lobster season in the region. Sharks are also common near there, but lifeguards say most are not considered dangerous. There are only a handful of level 1 and 2 trauma centers in the country. Those are the hospitals where doctors frequently treat people with gunshot wounds. Having access to these top-of-the-line trauma centers can be the difference between life and death. Caitlin Connon shows us the life-saving work that doctors are doing.
When you've been shot, things start moving quickly.
Organized chaos.
The first person you're likely to see is an emergency medical technician.
If there's a situation where we have copious amounts of bleeding, we can apply a tourniquet if we have to.
Stopping the bleed is vital, but sometimes there's just too much blood.
If you get shot through the heart or aorta or superior vena cava with a high-powered rifle, death will be near instantaneous, but you can live for seconds or minutes after what will be a fatal gunshot wound. But to that person, it would probably seem like an eternity, because every breath is one breath closer to your last.
If it's not too late and the EMTs can slow down the bleeding, they'll try to replace what was lost. EMTs use a lot of IVs, big ones.
It's just like a garden hose.
Those EMTs can only do so much in the field.
Getting to the hospital quickly and a patient into surgery is the best chance for survival.
As soon as they activate the radio and contact us and let us know that they have a seriously injured individual coming in, some 20-odd pagers are activated.
Those pagers belong to doctors and nurses from all kinds of specialties, from cardiothoracic to neurology. Together, they'll see just how bad you've been hit.
The next thing is to take care of the devastating injuries and to do what's called damage control and to get all of the organs repaired as best as possible.
That damage isn't just caused by the path of the bullet.
It's like a shock wave. So that cavitation process is like a shock wave that damages and breaks up tissue as it's traversing through the tissue.
The bigger the bullet, the more powerful the gun, the more damage you'll see.
They, instead of just passing through a bone, they will shatter a bone. And instead of passing through a liver or a solid organ, they will what we call pulpify the organ, which basically just destroys the architecture completely.
Some organs, like the liver, are pretty resilient and can regenerate. Other organs aren't so tough.
If you have a gunshot wound to the head with virtually any type of handgun or rifle, that death is, I would say, near instantaneous.
Those who survive a gunshot wound are often left with life-changing effects like paralysis. Many also suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder.
They realized that they were very close to death.
Those deaths, that fear, might all be preventable.
I do believe if people could see the severity of these things, it might change the way that they carry on and look at how dangerous these things can be, and perhaps might cause behavioral change.
Dr. Thomas says he often sees the same people in his trauma bay over and over. Unfortunately, many of those patients end up dying in the end. He and the medical community are not the only ones trying to stop those deaths. That's when city leaders and community organizers try to get involved. On the Health Watch now, the CDC estimates 80,000 people died of the flu and its complications last season. That's the highest death toll in at least 4 decades. There were also 900,000 hospitalizations. The CDC blames the severity on a particularly bad strain and lower vaccination rates in key groups. The CDC recommends getting vaccinated for the upcoming season by the end of October. And a new study finds smokers have an increased risk of developing gum disease. Researchers in Cleveland found smoking weakens the ability for pulp in the teeth to fight illness and disease. In other words, smokers have less defense mechanisms on the insides of their teeth. One interesting find, however, is once smokers quit the habit, those defense mechanisms return. And a review of more than 300 studies finds golfing regularly reduces the risk factors of heart disease and stroke. Playing can also improve health and balance for older players. Researchers recommend playing 2.5 hours a week and walking instead of driving around in the cart. Time now is 7:09. We're hoping this weekend's low temperatures overnight were low enough to kill many of those pesky mosquitoes. We're in for a bit of a warm-up heading into the work week. Chris is tracking a roller coaster of temperatures, and you're looking live downtown this morning. He's in next with your full First Alert forecast.
Good Sunday morning to all of you. It is a little bit damp out there this morning. That's because we had some rain showers come through overnight, and we still have a few of those lingering around. Here's Doppler track right now showing you more of that shower activity, but notice how it is dramatically decreased in coverage and intensity as we've gone over the past couple of hours. We're going to be getting a break through the next couple of hours as well as we go into the afternoon. The cloud cover, that'll be sticking around, and we may even have some drizzle as well. Temperature-wise, most of us are in the mid-40s. We're at 46 in Lone Rock, same for Mineral Point, 47 in Monroe, 46 as well here in Madison right now, with a lot of cloud cover being reported, along with some light rain still coming in at the airport. Winds just moments ago were out of the east and southeast, but I mentioned in the last main weather report that they would be turning towards the east and northeast. We've already seen that happen now, coming in at about 4 miles per hour. That will be increasing as we go through the day. In fact, by tonight, we'll see even more of a northerly component, and that's going to keep temperatures cool. So check this out. This afternoon, we'll see those temperatures right around 52, but 82 as you work your way towards the south over central Illinois. Then tomorrow, we'll do the same kind of ball game here. We'll top out around 60, but you'll see mid-80s just to our south. What we have going on is a stationary front, and that stationary front is just south of us, putting Madison on the cold side of that for the next couple of days. Waves of low pressure are going to be moving through. That is going to be bringing those rain chances. We'll see those rain chances again as we go through the overnight hours tonight, and then multiple rounds of rain as we go through Monday as well. Some of those could be some heavier chances. So let's bring this closer to home and take you hour by hour through today. Temperatures top out right around 52. Towards 8 o'clock, the rain chances will come back. Those will last overnight and through Monday morning. We'll get a little bit of a break on Monday. Then Monday afternoon, we'll see those rain chances coming back into the picture. And some of those could be heavier rain chances, and we really want to keep a close eye on that, just because we're looking at the potential for 2 to 3 inches of rain as we go through the day on Monday, which of course we're still somewhat waterlogged from all the rain that we had back in August. But nonetheless, this does look to be spread out and not all at once. So that is the good news. But more rain chances do come as we go through the next couple of days. You'll see those Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday as well, but that'll be Thursday morning, then a little bit of a break before more rain chances Friday. That's cold front that should clear us out by Saturday of next weekend.
Chris, it's brightened up quite a bit since you were out there last, and you shed a layer. You don't have a jacket on. It must mean it's feeling a little bit better outside?
It's not. I just decided to change up the outfit this time, but
okay.
It's still pretty cool, but it's not as cold as yesterday, I will say that.
Got to be a little different from live shot to live shot, right?
Yep.
Thanks so much, Chris.
My pleasure.
Well, we've been asking you to share your morning with us, and we're nearing the end of our summer submissions. Jennifer Harris posted this gorgeous flower on Facebook. A nice reminder that we'll have another taste of warmer temperatures this week before fall really sets in. Thanks so much for sharing, Jennifer. Well, what does your morning look like? Take a picture and post it on channel3000.com's Facebook page or on Twitter using the hashtag MyNews3thismorning. We're especially looking for pictures of all the changing fall colors. There's lots of those out there, so send those to us and we'll share our favorites right here on News 3 This Morning. And if you're heading to the Sylvie for its next concert tomorrow night, you'll have a garage to park in. Madison's newest venue, the Sylvie, opened last Thursday with a sold-out crowd for Nathaniel Rateliff, and the Night Sweats. But the 600-stall parking structure wasn't ready for those 2,500 people that showed up in attendance. Managers at the Sylvie say that garage will be open in time for Monday's show. The unique Bucky on Parade statues are now heading to new homes. Some of them were auctioned off last night at the Kohl Center. The others are part of an online auction along with other Badger State goodies. Proceeds go to Guarding Against Cancer, the Madison Area Sports Commission, and 10% will go to a charity of the buyer's choice. There's another way to get to Florida from Dane County. Sun Country Airlines started its nonstop service from Madison to Tampa this weekend. The airline launched its Madison to Fort Myers service on Friday and added the Tampa flight yesterday. These are the first Sun Country flights to originate in Madison. And today is your last day to vote for the coolest things made in Wisconsin. This year, a Stoughton clothing company is on the list. CC Moo LLC made it to the top 4 after the first round of voting in the Wisconsin Manufacturers and Commerce Contest. That company makes clothing for infants and toddlers who need a feeding tube. A Kringle company in Des Peres and Generac that makes a Wi-Fi connected home generator that can sense power outages are also in the finals. You can vote once per day at madeinwis.com until tonight at 11:59. Time now is 7:17. Following his passion and finding his roots, we'll introduce you to a former government worker who quit his job to pursue his dream. What he's growing on a Washington rooftop that's helping hundreds of people who need it the most. That story next on News 3 This Morning Sunday.
The temperature is 46 as you head out this morning. We do have some chilly showers around as well. That's going to be the theme going through the morning. We'll see some temperatures warm up to about 49. By the afternoon, we'll reach the low 50s for highs with a little bit of a break in the rain and the drizzle before more of that comes back overnight and into Monday. And throughout the day on Monday, we'll have some rounds of heavy rain coming through as well. This is all due to a stationary front with regions of low pressure moving along it. Of course, we'll be breaking down more of your forecast details coming up. Jamie.
Thank you, Chris. One man's dream led him to quit his government contractor job and grow some real roots in the community. It's not unusual for high-end law firm to be just steps from the Capitol here. But what is unusual is that on top of the law firm is an urban vegetable garden. It's part of Rooftop Roots, a startup created by a former EPA employee hoping to bring food and work to those who need it most. Chip Reed has that story.
Hidden away on the roof of this fire station and affordable housing complex is a small garden with big dreams.
It's a big sense of accomplishment.
Thomas Schneider built this garden outside Washington, D.C. back in 2013, an idea that came to him on a friend's roof deck.
We're looking down at this office building, and there's probably 10,000 square feet of just empty roof space. Wow, that'd be cool if we could grow food on that space.
Schneider was working as a contractor with the Environmental Protection Agency, but he wanted to do something with more of a direct environmental impact. So about 6 months ago, the 36-year-old quit his EPA position to focus on his company, Rooftop Roots, full-time.
Roof space does provide its own challenges to grow food, but it's better than just a blank space that has basically nothing going for it.
Rooftop Roots has now installed commercial and residential gardens throughout the D.C. area, using the profits made from those gardens to create community gardens in low-income areas at no cost. Only 7% of adults who live at or below the poverty level eat the daily recommended amount of vegetables, a statistic Schneider wants to change.
We're aiming to create more locally grown food, teach individuals how to grow food, create healthy and nutritious foods using the produce from the gardens.
But he's not just feeding these communities, he's providing jobs for them too.
It just gave me something better to do.
Mike Burris used to be homeless on the streets of D.C. Now he installs gardens for Rooftop Roots.
It's gave me a better outlook on community service and working in the gardens and in the environment, rebuilding the soil.
Yeah, I've been gardening all my life.
Wanda Dickerson, or Aunt Peaches as she's known around here, is the head gardener atop this firehouse.
You don't mind getting dirty? No, that's why they made water.
Aunt Peaches not only hands out the free fresh produce to her neighbors, she also makes homemade relish out of them.
What's the secret to making this? Love. Love? Mm-hmm. Love.
The idea of community gardens to improve quality of life has taken off in other urban areas, like this community garden in Providence, Rhode Island, this rooftop garden on top of affordable housing in New York City, and this one in Los Angeles. Schneider now has 7 community gardens across the D.C. region.
What is the single best thing about all of this?
Bringing people together, by far. If we can really provide over the long term, help break that cycle of poverty, that'll be a dream come true for me.
For Peaches, the single best thing is the taste of fresh food.
You can tell the difference between this and one you buy at the grocery feel store. it. Taste it. Oh, yes. Mm-hmm. Delicious, isn't it? Absolutely delicious.
Making me hungry. The vegetables grown there are used in the firm's cafeteria. Schneider told us he hopes to continue expanding Rooftop Roots by building more community gardens throughout the D.C. area and offering more employment opportunities. Time now is 7:24 and more news ahead on News 3 this morning, Sunday. Next, we're running through the morning's top stories, including the community-wide meeting for parents and people who live near La Follette High School after an uptick in shootings near the school. Plus, a feel-good story this Saturday morning, the inclusive baseball team proving the importance of working together to overcome obstacles and just how sweet the resulting success can be. Those stories and more are just ahead. Here.
Seeing our kids just being able to succeed is great.
Success can be measured in so many ways, especially when you're doing something good to help kids succeed.
This is News 3 This Morning Sunday.
Good morning and welcome to News 3 This Morning Sunday. It's September 30th. I'm Jamie Perez. We'll get a check on the weather with Chris in just a second, but first let's get you caught up on today's headlines. Madison police say they will release new information today about their investigation into what led to 2 deaths on the city's east side. Officers were called out to a townhouse on Webb Avenue near 151 around noon Saturday. Officers met family members outside the home, then forced their way inside. They found a 34-year-old woman and a 39-year-old man with gunshot wounds. Police say that they knew each other. Both were pronounced dead shortly after. Police also found a firearm at the scene, and because the 2 dead knew each other in a domestic context, officials don't believe there is any threat to the public. Right now, police have not said whether or not children were involved. After 2 shootings in the span of a week, the neighborhood in the area of La Follette High School is coming together this week to talk about ways school leaders can make sure that students are safe. Alders Michael Tierney and David Ahrens will join the La Follette High School principal Sean Storch and members of the Madison Police Department, including Chief Mike Koval, at a community meeting tomorrow night. There they'll listen to concerns from the people living in the Glendale neighborhood and try to answer as many questions as they can. That meeting starts at 6:30 at the Senate Middle School on Flom Road. More than 70,000 dairy professionals will be in Madison this week for the World Dairy Expo. It kicks off Tuesday at the Alliant Energy Center. Participants will spend time talking shop and learning how to improve their business. Along with recent tariffs, farmers have been struggling with stagnant milk prices for several years, and many are deciding to leave the industry entirely. The latest census of dairy farms here in the state shows the number of farms has dropped nearly 20% in the last 5 years. And if you're heading to tomorrow night's concert at the new Sylvie Theater, you'll have a garage to park in. Madison's newest music venue opened last Thursday to a sold-out crowd for Nathaniel Rateliff and the Night Sweats, but the 600-stall parking structure was not ready for those 2,500 people that went. Managers at the Sylvie say that garage will be open in time for Monday's show. Here's Chris with your First Alert forecast now, Chris.
Good morning, Jamie. I want to point this out. Our station camera is literally in the cloud cover right now on our tower here at our studios. And so what you are actually looking at is what it's like to be inside of a cloud if you've never flown before. The land down there below, temperatures are 46 degrees right now. We've got some light rain coming down at the airport and winds out of the east and northeast at 5 miles per hour. We're going to keep that going on as we go through the rest of the day. Now, temperatures are starting to warm up gradually now that the sun is up. But given the cloud cover that we have around, it's going to be hard pressed to truly get them to move. Janesville's the warmest spot in our area at 50 degrees right now. And let's go ahead and show you the next couple of hours, though. Here's Future Track. You'll see more of those rain showers moving back into the picture, especially right around 8 o'clock and during the overnight hours. Those could be on the heavier side of the spectrum. But this morning, 46 to 49 degrees with some chilly showers lingering in some spots. We'll have a few chances for showers this afternoon, but temperatures will only top out right around 52 degrees. Let's go ahead and show you traffic if you are out and about this morning. There it is, the raindrops on the camera and the roads being wet, but so far they are moving smoothly with no major issues or delays this morning. Jamie.
Thanks so much, Chris. We're going to turn now to politics. Governor Scott Walker is adding people to his campaign staff. The election is 5 weeks away, and polls show him trailing to his Democratic challenger, Tony Evers. The state Medicaid director is leaving her job to work on messaging for Walker, and he's also adding Republican Senator Ron Johnson's spokesman as a communications advisor. Meanwhile, Walker's opponent, the state school superintendent Tony Evers, spent Saturday campaigning in La Crosse. The Wisconsin-based band Bon Iver plans to hold an early voting rally and fundraiser for Democratic Senator Tammy Baldwin. The event will take place in Madison on October 20th, and Bon Iver said in a statement the band is thrilled to support Senator Baldwin and early voting. Baldwin's opponent in the upcoming election, Republican Leah Vukmir, spent Saturday campaigning at Fall Fest in Burlington. Outgoing Speaker of the House and Janesville native Paul Ryan was also there and knew this morning he got a standing ovation from hundreds in the crowd. Speaker Ryan has been attending that 1st District Republican Party of Wisconsin event for the last 18 years now. He was this year's keynote speaker and told the crowd that during his time in Washington, he's proven that Republican principles work. Ryan also got pretty emotional reminiscing about his time representing Wisconsin.
Honor of my lifetime to serve you
to be a part of this.
Election Day is November 6th, but many candidates at the event were out pushing people to vote early.
To see the excitement, a lot of these kids wait all year long for this time.
Now, there have been a lot of movies made about our national pastime, Field of Dreams, The Natural, A League of Their Own. They all showcase the true love of the sport and the passion of the players. Madison has a program designed to do something good for players who otherwise probably wouldn't have a chance to be part of the game. Charlotte Delesh shows us how players on this team are having the time of their lives.
It's a sunny Saturday, September morning. Bats are lined up, cleats are getting laced, players are warming up. This is America's greatest pastime.
Let's play some Challenger baseball!
But this league is different.
I constantly say, he can't do this, he can't do that. I don't say he can't do anything anymore.
There you go!
We don't keep score. Everybody bats and everybody scores at some point in the game.
This is a league for special kids. Everyone runs bases, and there's no such thing as a DL. This is where the impossible is thrown out and everyone is an MVP.
No such thing as two anything. They can do this. I mean, we have so many different kids with different challenges out here, and they all can do it. And we make sure they can do it.
While they might not be using a Louisville slugger or even a real baseball for that matter, no one here cares.
We're here to have fun and for no other reason.
These All-Stars don't do it alone. Each is paired with a buddy to help them when they need it.
Have you had to give him any pointers?
Not really. He knows the game super well. Every now and then he says, stay in the dugout. I know what to do.
And with moves like this, there's no doubt Ben here, who's a Cubs fan, is ready for the big leagues.
An infield double, infield triple, an infield home run. Nice running.
Do you practice a lot, or is this just natural ability?
Natural ability. While each player has stepped up to the plate to face the challenges of the Challenger League head on, for everyone else, it's life-changing.
I think it's really important for me as a person to know that I'm doing something good.
Some people judge them by their cover, and they shouldn't, because, they're super nice people once you get to know them on the inside.
I feel like I'm going to do this for a long time.
Well, I hope you do.
It's a true field of dreams.
I think that many of the players and the families would not have thought that they may have been able to watch their players play baseball in their lifetime.
A place where diamonds in the rough shine like they're meant to.
It actually kind of brings tears to my eyes for him to be able to come out here and play and be part of a team. It's just awesome.
If you would like to help the Challenger League, they're always looking for volunteers, more baseball players ages 8 to 16, and of course, donations are always welcome. You can find more information at the West Madison's Little League website you see there on your screen. If you know of a person or an organization do something good, please let us know. Nominate them at channel3000.com/do-something-good. Time now is 7:37. Nearly 6 million Americans live with Alzheimer's or a form of dementia, and a local group leading the way in research is sharing their findings tomorrow night, where you can learn some of the brightest, from some of the brightest minds for free. We're joined by one of the group's outreach leaders next on News 3 This Morning Sunday.
There's a lot of low cloud cover out there this Sunday morning. Temperature-wise, most of us are in the mid to upper 40s. 46 has been the temperature for about the past 4 hours here in Madison. They're not going to move all that much with the cloud cover that we do have out there. That's the same for a lot of folks. 47, though, in Monroe, 50 in Janesville, 51 in Kenosha and Milwaukee at this hour. But we're going to see more of those rain chances coming back into the picture, especially after 5 o'clock. And that could be some heavier rain as we go through the overnight hours. We'll be breaking that all down coming up. Guys.
Thank you, Chris. Well, nearly 6 million Americans are living with Alzheimer's right now or dementia, and people here in Wisconsin hoping to learn more about aging healthy, keeping your brain healthy, and preventing Alzheimer's can attend a free event tomorrow night. And Dorothy Edwards is a professor of medicine and kinesiology at the UW and the outreach leader for the Wisconsin's Alzheimer's Disease and Research Center. That is a mouthful, but good morning.
It is a mouthful, isn't it? Thank you.
Good morning,
and thank you
for joining us. So this event tomorrow night, can you tell us a little bit about it?
So this event tomorrow night is our annual fall lecture. This is our 17th lecture, and every year we choose a topic that's really important and interesting to the community. And so this year we're focusing on brain resilience and healthy brain aging. So although we're an Alzheimer's Disease Research Center, we're actually more interested in helping people avoid Alzheimer's disease and how to stay healthy for as long as they can. So tomorrow night we're going to be at the Gordon Dining Center, which is on Dayton Street. Anyone who's ever gone to the Kohl Center has actually walked by that big new building on Dayton Street to do a whole series of lectures and provide information for people interested in healthy brain aging. It starts at 5 o'clock. It runs from 5 to 8. We have a resource fair from 5 to 6 with a number of community providers talking about healthy aging and opportunities. And then we'll move into our more formal lecture. Our speaker this year is Dr. Emily Rogalski. She is the Associate Director of the Alzheimer's Disease Research Center at Northwestern University, but her area of research is on super aging, on those people who seem to be completely unaffected by the effects of aging. And so she's going to talk about what she's found about how to live longer and have good brain health based on her findings. We then have two other speakers. Dr. Cynthia Carlson, who's one of our investigators, a very well-known geriatrician, is going to be talking about things that people have a lot of questions about supplements, vitamins, diet, and how those, do they work or do they not work in preserving healthy brain aging and helping you keep your memory healthy. And then our last speaker is Dr. Kimberly Mueller. She's also a member of the UW faculty, and she's really interested in how engagement in social and cognitively challenging activities like brain games affect memory. And at the end of the evening, we do what's probably the most popular. We have a panel of experts, and the audience can ask anything they want. And so that often is what people are most interested in, is a chance to ask the experts if they have any questions. So we're really hoping for a good turnout. We had about 500 people last year. I'd like to see more this year because we're all interested in staying healthy in later life.
And pretty much anybody can go to this that just wants some basic information.
Absolutely. Yeah, this is free and open to the public. You know, we are one of the 31 NIH-funded Alzheimer's Disease Research Centers. We just got funded for another 5 years, so we're going to hopefully be around for at least 15 years. And one of our commitments is to making sure our community understands what they can do to stay healthy and to provide the expertise so that we can separate out the false information from the things that actually work.
You sure do have a lot of passion for what you do.
I do. I've been doing this work for a long time, since 1980. And the nice thing is that when I started, when I was just out of graduate school, we really didn't know much, and now we know a lot. And we want to make sure that the community gets the benefit of all this knowledge that's around us, because there's a lot of false information, but there's a lot we can do to stay healthy in later life. And it starts early. So, you know, there are things that people in their 30s and 40s could be doing to make sure that they're going to be healthy when they're 90.
Sure. I'm sure this is going to be really informative, and like you said, I hope that you get the turnout that you're expecting. It sounds like you're going to do really well.
Thank you. It's free, and we hope to see a lot of people.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. You can learn more at tonight's Resilience in Brain Aging event happening at the Gordon Dining and Event Center at the UW-Madison campus on Dayton Street from 5 to 8 tomorrow night, October 1st. The Healthy Aging Resource Fair kicks off the event at 5. Speakers and audience Q&A begins at 6 o'clock. Time now is 7:45. It'll feel like we're on a bit of a roller coaster ride of ups and downs in terms of temperatures heading into the work week, with highs pushing 80 and lows nearing 30. You'll want to keep an eye on the forecast. You're looking live downtown at the Capitol. Chris is back next with what you can expect in the week ahead when News 3 This Morning Sunday continues. But first, if you have a little kid turning 3 soon, please let us know so we can show their picture on TV. Look who's 3.
Look who's
We've been tracking a lot of light rain around this morning, especially during the overnight hours. A lot of that has diminished as we've gone pretty much from about 4 o'clock this morning and to now, but nonetheless, there's still a lot of drizzle out there in spots. You have a few pockets of showers that are showing up on radar, but a lot of that moisture out there is so low to the ground that the radar can't pick it up. Our radar beams are towards Milwaukee and out towards La Crosse, scanning the sky. They get higher in the sky the further away they are from the radar site. So a lot of that low level moisture is some drizzle that's not going to show up on radar. We'll keep that around through the morning, and that's going to help keep temperatures chilly, but we'll get a break from the main action of heavier showers coming on through. 46, that's the temperature for a lot of folks right now. That includes us right here in Madison. Mineral Point at 46, same for Boscobel. Lone Rock has warmed up to 47. Our friends in Janesville, they've been at about 50 degrees pretty much all morning long. But with that cloud cover out there, excuse me, with that cloud cover, we're going to be hard pressed to truly get temperatures to move all that much. We've got winds coming out of the east and northeast at 5 miles per hour. But here's what I want to pay attention to. Let's watch how the winds shake up as we go through the next couple of days. So out of the northeast right now, we'll see them out of the north later on. Then we'll go through tomorrow. We'll see them kind of out of the north and east once again. But then we get you later on into Monday. They shift and become more easterly. Now watch this. By Monday afternoon, we have winds coming out of the south, just to our south and east. Just to the north and west, winds are coming out of the north. Then by the afternoon and evening, further into your Monday night, we have more of a northerly wind component. At the same time, we're going to see temperatures kind of on a wide spread. 52 in Madison versus 80s as we get down towards central Illinois. We'll do the same thing as we go into Monday. Temperatures around 60 here in Madison with 80s further to the south. What that is we have a stationary front, and that's wobbling back and forth as we go through the next couple of days due to waves of low pressure that are riding along that. That stationary front doing so is the reason for the temperature roller coaster ride, but also the reason that we're going to see several chances for some showers and thunderstorms. We'll notice the rain chances increasing once again as we get into tonight and through early Monday morning. We'll get a small break throughout the day on Monday before more rain chances move in Monday night. Those have the potential to bring some lightning and thunder along with some gusty winds and even heavy rain with those. And speaking of heavy rain, it's looking like we could see about 2 to 3 inches of rain between now and Monday night. So that's something we, of course, want to keep a very close eye on. Now, as we go through the next 7 to 10 days, that's not the only rain chance. We'll have more rain chances Tuesday and Wednesday, along with Thursday morning with a little bit of a break. Friday and into Saturday and Sunday, things do calm down just a little bit. Now, Jamie, we tend to get cats when we do pet walk just about every time. But here's Roxy in the backyard. And look at that. Taking cover from the rain, I guess. You got to do what you got to do.
I feel like even in the sun, you can find them hiding in the backyard under
well,
a
then
bush
it's
or
hot.
something.
You know, I was like,
they're
that's
just
right.
always hiding.
Shade is a good spot.
Thank you, Chris. Time now is 7:51. There's more news ahead all day long here on News 3. Tonight at 5:30 and 10, we're heading to Reedsburg after historic flooding hit the town, how the community is moving forward and rebuilding the Star Theater. But first, a historic house gets a new home. The length its new owner had to go to get on its land, only accessible by boat. That's next on News 3 this morning, Sunday. A historic house has finally made its way to its new home through rather unique means.
That's right, Jamie. Crews successfully transported the White House and its 115 years of history in one piece by water. Taylor Vito has the story.
Well, it's hard to see from here, but if you look way in the distance and you zoom in, you can see it. A more than 100-year-old home on a barge on Lake Coeur d'Alene. And it looks even more impressive when you take a look at it from above.
How's that for a view? There it is, floating along, and even a worker atop the roof taking in the sight themselves. So why is this happening in the first place? Here's the home's new owner.
So we really had no choice other than if we could have talked Fairchild into flying it in.
That's John Swallow, a local businessman, talking to us earlier this week. He has a passion for saving and repurposing old buildings. And when he heard this 115-year-old home was up for grabs from a local retirement community, hey, he jumped on the opportunity. Now, back to what he was saying, the home was being moved to land on Casco Bay that's only accessible by boat. So, starting at 2 a.m. this morning, the house was hauled by a truck to this dock near Cedars. It took several hours to then transfer to the barge. The tugboats jockeyed into place, and then off it went. Here's a time-lapse of it pushing off. It took about an hour to cross across the lake to Casco Bay, certainly drawing looks and awe from nearby boaters and people walking the lake. Now, from what we could tell, it all seemed to work out. The barge was cruising at a decent pace. I did touch base with one of the owner's colleagues who helped with the move. He tells me that there were some setbacks getting the barge on its way, but aside from that, the float across the lake went great. This old home will see new life once again.
Honestly, for me and my family, it just made sense. There would have been no reason for us to go build a big monster house on the lake. It just didn't fit us.
And what did fit was an old home with character and a one-of-a-kind way to get there.
Awesome.
Sure is one of a kind.
I know. A whole new meaning to Lake House, right?
Speaking of being on the water and being involved in all that, we got a lot of precipitation for forecast.
Rain chances coming on back into the forecast. We are seeing those not only today, but again through Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, even Thursday morning, Friday. You know what? Just give all the days some rain while we're out there. But you know, Saturday looks fantastic, and so that's going to be a good day in our forecast. Next week, it will be a little bit chilly though, but that's the only caveat.
All right, thanks so much, and thank you for watching.
Making plans that are weather dependent? Get an accurate 12-hour, even a 10-day forecast. Download the Channel 3000 First Alert Weather app and start planning.